come on back, and let's see if that does it. I think I did it last time. Hold on, I'm waiting. Yep, that did it. That's just one. It popped up, so I'm pretty sure it's going to work. I'm just waiting. Come on. There we go. Yeah, we're good. It gets very sensitive about having YouTube, for whatever reason, on the off chance anybody cares. I just have to wait for it to show up in the live stream list. With OBS, for whatever reason, YouTube really wants you to open a window with your, I don't know what they would call it, your live thing. Really? This is not going to work? Okay, let me... Social stream is now deciding it doesn't want to work, so let me restart that. That's okay. I haven't launched anything yet, so it's perfectly fine. But if you're typing anything, I can't see it yet, unless it's in Twitch. Yeah, for some reason, it just does not want to see... Does not want to see the main channel. Unless I go down here, maybe. Hold on. Hey, that worked. Okay. That's why I have this alternate channel. Sometimes this alternate tab, really. Sometimes that works. I don't know why, but I also really don't care, because as long as it keeps working, I don't need to know why. So, all right, those are both good. Switch to live chat on those so I can see if any messages actually show up. Then we will hit the button. Let's see if we hear a sound. Did I hit it? Yeah, there it is. Okay, which means I can shrink that down. And now I can add the social stream window so that people will be able to see comments. Hit OK, make that visible. Let's do our testing, test 1. There it is. Let's do test number 2. Hold on. Why did that not show up? Weird. Hold on. Did something not work? Oh, whoa. Oh, because I've got 2 windows open, sorry. Why is it not showing the other one? Hold on a second. Huh. The main channel thing is not working for some reason, even though it's... Oh, because it's showing... No, that should still work. It says already added. Huh. Well, guess what, everybody? I'm not going to worry about it. I don't know why this one's not working now. Oh, now it says already... Really? All right, hold on. Let's try it again. Okay, now I saw... Oh, all right, it's working now. Never mind, just took a minute. Okay. Little weird, little delay, and there shouldn't be 2 of them anymore in a second. Test 3. Let's come back. Test 3. Perfect. All right, we can now close all these windows because I don't need all this garbage running in the background. Let's switch this over to participants just so I can see what's going on. And then I think I did that. Close this, and I believe all I have to do now is, I'm going to move my keyboard out of the way briefly. There we are. Move this, and then I just need to connect my iPad into the system. Oh, 1 day ago. My sister. You know what? It's a funny thing. My family doesn't really realize, I don't think they understand that I am not a primary iOS user. So they try to contact me through Apple channels, and I don't pick up. Why did she try to call me yesterday? That's weird. I wonder why. I'll have to check with her. But I'll see these alerts. I don't look at my iPad every single day. Or at least I don't look at the messages stuff because I don't use iMessage. So they don't realize that I'm not seeing that on my phone. But, you know. Coffee! Really good. I will recommend. If you like, my stomach just growled. I hope Mike didn't pick that up. I'm not even hungry, so I don't know why that. Well, I am looking for, well, one thing at a time. I know not everybody likes capsule coffee, but I do have an espresso machine, and I did get the maple pecan coffee. And not only does it smell really good, it actually tastes pretty good, which I can't say for a lot of capsule coffee. We mostly use it for espresso. My wife will make it in the morning. We have like a milk frother and all that stuff. That's just what she makes that for me in the morning. But that's actually good coffee. If you're not, if you're big into coffee, I'm sure it doesn't. Look, actually, I know it doesn't. I know it's not as good as making your own fresh, that type of thing, which I used to do until I just realized that I'm at a point where doing all that and drinking that coffee just isn't, I don't make coffee as much as I used to, so it's really just not worth the money. I know it's not as good. I am aware. I am well aware. So I know that it's a quality difference. I understand. It just doesn't make financial sense anymore. So anyway, here we go. Let's roll this. Let's get this running. Okay. We should be all set now. So let's see what we get. Hold on. And hey, everything's working. This is obviously an earlier than usual stream because I mentioned this on the last stream. I actually have time because I did my show today was very early. And, oh, you know what? Oh, God, I'm such a moron. I had that window open and I closed it. Unbelievable. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I can do it later. I could have just downloaded the meeting assets from earlier, but it doesn't make a difference. So anyway, yeah, I had 3 things I was going to talk about. Coffee was one. Oh, I'm excited because tonight I'm going to be attempting to make, with my wife's assistance, otherwise it would be a disaster. I'm going to attempt to make Chinese, okay, I'll call it American Chinese restaurant takeout fried rice. And I specify that because I am well aware, as with many things when it comes to me, that there are authentic versions of things that have been Americanized. And they are often superior. And I don't disagree that they probably are better. However, I like Chinese takeout fried rice, which I've come to find out is in many cases actually Korean restaurant takeout rice, that many Chinese food restaurants are in fact Korean restaurants. Don't make a difference to me. It's either good food or it's bad food, but I didn't know that when I was younger. I was since informed of that by people who are actually Chinese and make food and have restaurants. That in fact, many of these smaller places are not Chinese. They are in fact Korean, at least on the East Coast. Can't say that for everywhere because I don't really know. Anyway. So I'm going to attempt to make it tonight. So I went over to, we're very fortunate, within 5 minutes of our house is I've now found out, well-stocked Asian supermarket. So I found a recipe from somebody who was explaining, the technique and everything. It's very simple and had a list of ingredients. I went, got the ingredients. They had everything except for kosher salt, which it turns out we already had. So that was actually, we got lucky because my wife said, no, we have kosher salt. And sure enough, we do. So they had everything I needed. And we're going to attempt to make it tonight. So I am really looking forward to that because now this could be dangerous because I do love fried rice when it tastes the way I want it to. So that might not be the best thing to know how to make easily. But regardless, we're going to try it out. So anyway, that's not the concern of this stream. The concern of this stream is my Cyberhead image. So let's keep going on this. So we did the piping on those neck things the last time. I gotta fix these white lines here. I don't like those white lines. Let's find those. And they're probably in here somewhere. These maybe? Yep, that's it. Okay, let's go ahead and erase the ones I don't like, which it turns out are all, okay, I need a bigger eraser than that. There we go. We're gonna erase this. And we're gonna redo those lines because I don't, see that right there? I don't like this. These lines aren't really following the shape. They're kind of their own thing that doesn't make any sense, and I don't like them. So they're going to go. And then we need to make another one of these that's going to go behind that other hose thing that I did last time. Or not last time, but was there. Okay, that's not up there. That's good, so I don't have to worry about that. So we're just going to get rid of these lines, and we're going to do new white lines that more follow. See, the other ones, actually, that kind of has the same problem. I guess I'm going to get rid of these two. We're going to redo 2 sets of white lines. I don't know why I did that. I think I immediately disliked it, but I just left it. Well, we're not just leaving it because we're going to fix this. I want this to look good because I want this to go onto a shirt. And I don't want to make shirts that are garbage. So, I mean, I'm not making the shirts, but I don't want to have images on a shirt that are garbage. So, we're going to fix this stuff. Because why not? Let's fix it. Let's fix this stuff. There we go. Right, the other 2 are fine. I don't know why I did it correctly on the other 2 and then somehow fell apart on these. Whatever. Doesn't matter. So we're going to go to white. We're going to go to a pen. And now we got to dial this in. Probably a 3, I'd guess. Maybe a 2. Well, let's see. Maybe it was a 2. Yeah, it looks like it's a 2. Yeah, okay, so it was a 2. Now, we can turn on mirroring. Or symmetry. Because why not? You know what? Actually, before I do that, let me... No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't make a difference. All right, let's start over here. I don't like that one either. You know what? I'm going to fix this too. Hold on. I just don't like there's just a shade too much of a gap on this one line for me. It just is. It's just enough that it's going to bug me. I can just tell. It is bugging me because I noticed it. Therefore, it's bugging me. So we're going to fix that. Ooh, not that one. We're going to fix that line too. What is that? Where did you come from? Oh, I see what I did. Where does he come from? Who are his people? These are the things I must know. There's a Chronicles of Riddick deep cut for you, if you're so inclined, which most people probably aren't. I don't know that most people would even know that quote. And you're better off not. I don't know why it's always stuck in my head. It's such a weird quote. It's not even a great line delivery. But anyway. Sorry, I gotta be careful with this because it's a long line. I'd like to get it in one shot. I did. There we go. That just looks better. It's not a huge difference. Most people might not even notice it, but I see it. None of them see it, but I see it. There you go. There's another deep cut, this time for the shadow. I don't know why certain line deliveries stick in my head, especially about movies that most people don't even like all that much. Oh, that line's bad too. Look, I don't like that gap. Hold on. It is no good. Gotta fix that too. Why? I don't know, but I can just tell you I don't like it. Is there a good reason? No. But I can just tell you I don't like it. Oh, was that on symmetry? No. Oh, I didn't do that side yet. Whoa, that line got doubled. What happened there? What is this? Oh, I didn't erase the other one. Does that line now look too thin? Wow, it looks too thin now. Oh, it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So that one and... Wow, it's... Oh, I erased... I erased alternate lines on these things. That's really funny. I didn't realize what I was doing. What a non-shock that is. All right. Oh! Hey, Timber Dragon! Nice to see you. Hello. Happy... What are we? Wednesday. Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Nice to see you. Hope your day is going well. Did I fix that? Yeah, I did. Okay. That's that. Okay. Let's get these fixed. I'm just fixing really stupid things that nobody but me cares about on this image. And, you know, at some point I have to actually finish this image. So, combination of things. So, give me a minute. I got to be careful when I do this because it's so easy for me to screw that up. Okay. That, yeah, I don't like that part of it. Let's see here. Well, that's great. I'm very happy to hear that. I'm always, always, always happy when people are having a good day. Because you know what? Every good day you have, you should be happy about. Because you just never know. Because we're all going to have bad days. So good days are always worth recognizing. Because it's so easy to just let them go by. Like the weather today is nice and overcast. It's not raining. It was raining yesterday, but I like overcast days. They're always fun. I like gray days. Okay, I don't like the bottom of that line, though. So we're going to fix that as well. Doing this a little bit piecemeal, but that's okay. It works. There we go. Ah, yeah. There we are. Okay, so that line's good. Let me have a sip of my coffee here. Hold on. I don't mind room temperature coffee. I actually don't mind coffee not being hot, but I don't like cold coffee, so I have to kind of remember to drink that so it doesn't get too cool. Don't want it to cool off too much. Okay, so yeah, I think what I got to do here is if I'm smart, I'm starting on this side. And this will make it easier to make sure I don't have that spacing problem with the black line, which I ran into. There we go. So just keep following this line very carefully. So, yep. No, today's been very good so far. Did the show this morning, so I think we recorded for about an hour and 40-something minutes. It was a great conversation, as I figured it would be, but you never know. I mean, I'm always impressed with people who are willing to jump onto a podcast with somebody who they really don't know. It's, I don't know, man. I guess people are just way more, I don't know what the word is. Because I would be nervous about it, but man, some people just aren't. Good for them. I envy that. I mean, I guess if somebody asks you to be on your show, how worried should you be? They obviously wanted to have you on, so there is an element of that still. You know, for all they knew, I was a raving lunatic, and I probably was. But in a good way. I mean, it helps when you know the person has a common interest, which in our case was movies. Movies and TV. So it helps because you do know kind of what you're getting into to a degree, but still, like I said, you don't know that the person's not going to just have insane opinions about things. Which, again, I do, but not in a bad way. So, that's a plus. All right, let's see. So, we should have... That's mirrored. That's good. Yeah, so we just really need to do... This is almost done. I do want to do a glow effect on those little red dots and the visor. And I wonder if I should put... Well... I'm not going to overthink it right now. Let's get the stuff done that needs to get done. Can come back to that other stuff later. So let me just make sure of something. That's, yeah, we'll be good there. So let's get these lines in. Let's get this line work finished. Then I can figure out what I want to do with the glowing stuff. Oh, you know what I just realized? Hold on a minute. I realized, hold on. I got to turn the heat in the house off so that there wouldn't be background noise for the show, but I'm now noticing it's a little bit cooler in here, which doesn't bother me, but I know cold weather, there we go. So there might be a little background noise. Sorry, the heat's about to kick on. I know cold weather, my dog has arthritis, and I know that cold weather is bad for joints, so I don't want it to affect her joints. So let me redo that line too, because I didn't make it tight enough. So you will hear the heat probably kick on because, unfortunately, just bad luck, the main heating unit is literally 15 feet from me, which means that noise gets picked up on the microphone almost all the time, so you'll probably hear it in a second. But like I said, fortunately, you're not really coming to this stream for audio quality, I don't think. It's the visuals, I hope. Because if it's for the audio quality, you're going to be very disappointed. Between the fact that there is that noise and my voice, I don't think you're going to find a lot that you're going to enjoy, audio-wise. I doubt. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, yeah, that line is a lot better. Yeah, so get our sip of coffee here. Which I try very hard not to slurp. Not that I slurp coffee normally, but it's one of those things that when you're aware that that noise would be bad, you tend to inadvertently do it. So I'm always careful about that. Okay, let's get the second line here. So I think I want to say, if I remember correctly, I think today is both Ash Wednesday and the first day of Ramadan. So now of course, if you're watching this after the fact, it isn't. But if you're someone who celebrates either of those things, happy Ash Wednesday. I guess, do you say happy Ash Wednesday? This is how lapsed a Catholic I am. I don't remember. Probably. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it isn't a happy occasion. Sorry, everybody. I would have known this when I was younger. I don't know it anymore. And I don't know whether you say happy Ramadan, so I guess what I'll say to kind of cover the bases and acknowledge it is, if either of those holidays are ones that you partake in, I hope you were able to do so without incident, I guess. I don't know if that sounds tremendously better, but I'm trying. So, like I said, I don't know. As it probably is now extraordinarily clear, my spirituality is not really rooted, if it even exists, which in my case depends on the day, I'll be honest. But it certainly is not rooted in any type of traditional or organized approach. It's just kind of ad hoc, I suppose, would be the best term for it. Again, if that term even applies, yeah, that line's way too thin. I'm gonna fix that. It came in too close. So, but I don't have any inherent problem with other people celebrating or having a more organized approach. So I try to at least recognize it for people who might be, yeah, these lines are curving and they shouldn't be. I just saw it. I'm like, why do those look wrong? Because they're curving incorrectly. They should not be curving in. They should be curving up like that, if they curve at all, really. But yeah, so I wanted to recognize that because I'm pretty sure when I was looking, I looked at the calendar for something earlier because I had seen a note, but I realized it was a reminder of something I'd already done, and it didn't. I did see Ash Wednesday, and I'm pretty sure it said first day of Ramadan, but I could be off on that. So if I've got that wrong, sorry about that. Not intentional. And now I'm realizing these lines are completely wrong. So we have to start from the other side because otherwise it just doesn't look right. That's not the first time that's happened on the stream. And I can tell you something, spoiler alert, it won't be the last time. I can promise you that. Let's go over on this side, it'll be easier because I can see more of what I'm doing. We're just gonna follow this along. But yeah, I'm doing an earlier stream today because I have the time. So I figured, okay, it's rare that on a Wednesday, but also at this particular time, that I have the time to do it. So I figured, okay, well, why not? Where is that from? Is that from here? Yeah, I had a hunch. I thought it probably had to be. So why not just do it now while I have the time? And I'll be honest, too. Thinking about the fried rice I'm going to be trying to make later, I'm already starting to get hungry. So doing this will stop me from just snacking on things indiscriminately, which I really don't need to be doing. Whereas coffee, I'm not so worried about. That doesn't bother me. Oops, come on. There we go. Whoops. Yeah, I gotta zoom in a little bit because it's zoomed out. It's so easy to get that spacing wrong. So, it's already starting to veer off, but I can fix that here. I can just correct it as we go. We'll just piecemeal it. There we go. I saw something that somebody mentioned that they got Procreate running on as a desktop version. Kind of interesting. I don't really think I need a desktop version of the program because I just do everything on the iPad, but it'd be interesting to see how it would work. I assume you would still need some kind of, I mean, there's got to be some kind of interface for the pen. What's that? Is my label coming off on this? Feels weird on my hand. Must be wearing. I've had this skin on the Apple Pencil for a very long time. It's probably due to be changed. But I just like it a lot. It looks like a, what do you call it? Stadler pencil. Stadler? Yeah. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's a German name. I think it's Stadler. And, but I think I can see in some places it is wearing. So I probably will need to get a new one at some point. But does that spacing look okay? Yeah, I think it just looks weird because there's not much of it at the moment, but it's fine. So, yeah. So, yeah, nice day. It's gray. I finished my Hellraiser painting, which I'm happy about. A day where I don't have a lot to complain about. And those are great days. Really don't. So, yeah, I think those lines are going to look okay. Yeah, I think we'll be all right there. Should be. Yeah. So yes, I'm very happy with how the show turned out this morning. Really, really good time talking to Gary and Ian. I really cannot believe I got Ian's last name wrong. Well, I should say mostly wrong. I got the last 4 letters right. But his last name is Buckingham, or Buckingham. And I said Nottingham. And I really don't even know why. I can't even think of where that name... I don't know anybody with that name. I don't know why I would jump to Nottingham. I assume I must have seen something that had that name or description or location or whatever, and it stuck. It's just so bizarre that I just jumped to that. But like I said, luckily, before we started recording, I corrected that. I mean, I pointed out in the recording that I got it wrong because I'm not going to pretend that I didn't make the mistake, and I should be publicly humiliated for being so boneheaded. And I'm sure they would be too polite to say it, but I won't. I'll be like, yeah, I'm an idiot. Actually, maybe it was one of those things that's actually that ends up being a positive in kind of breaking the ice. Is look, you're on a show with a moron. Yay! You can't possibly say something dumber than somebody who can't get your last name right when they should have checked it before they said that they opened their mouth. No, why? If I had been smart, I would have written it so I could make sure I get it right. But no. I didn't write it until after I got it wrong. And the funniest part of getting it wrong was the fact that I said I'm checking this because I know some people get sensitive about having their last names mispronounced. Not only did I mispronounce it, just by default, it wasn't even the right last name. So the very thing that I was trying to avoid, I actually did. I mean, seriously, okay, that line looks all wrong in the middle. How did this line lose its shape in the middle? Anyway, Ian was very, very nice about it, so it's fine. And I'm very glad I checked, so that at least when we actually were recording and at the end, I got it right. Oh, God. What a moron I am. Tell you what, though, that will make sure I don't get it wrong if they ever come back in the future. Which I would love to have them back. Would be absolutely fantastic. Because we could have, I mean, we talked for about an hour and 40 minutes, and I can tell you right now, I probably could have talked to those guys for another 3 hours easy. But Gary was getting ready. He had some people coming over for their tabletop game night, so I was very, very on top of, which I'm happy about, making sure I was watching the time so that we could get them out well ahead. Because he said, okay, this is when they're supposed to be here. So I'm like, well, we'll make sure we're done 15 minutes early of that time to ensure that if they get there early, you're not stuck doing this. So, and we did. We were done right on time. Meaning 1:45 when they were supposed to get there, 15 minutes before. So I was actually very happy that it worked out, that like the flow of conversation wasn't interrupted. It worked out perfectly. And I can just keep going on and on and on. So it was another good thing for me to practice, which is, okay, here's the time. Make sure that you're being aware of it, and wrap things up. And we did it. It was great. And just a blast. Because the nice part about that conversation is some of the things that we enjoy, movies, TV-wise, are not all the same. And we got into that a little bit, which I think is fun, because I really don't mind people not liking what I like. And I like I get a good degree of entertainment out of discussing why. And the differences. I think the differences are great. I think it's wonderful when people, as long as they're doing it respectfully, I think it's great to disagree on things, because you do start to get I think there's a value in seeing what people didn't see in something that you did. I don't mind that. So it doesn't bother me at all. I don't get argumentative about it, and I don't try to convince anybody. I'm just genuinely interested. So it was a lot of fun. And now most things we do like the same stuff. We're in similar age brackets, more or less, so it makes sense that we kind of grew up with the same types of things. And so the interest, I knew we weren't going to have nothing to talk about. I knew we would end up in kind of places where we'd have some common ground. So it was, I don't know that I've ever done a show where I really didn't know if I'd have anything to talk to the person about. I don't think so. I can't think of one that ever was quite like that. The toughest part, I think I've talked about this before, but on the off chance somebody's watching this that hasn't heard me talk about it before, the really toughest part of doing shows, of doing podcasts with people that you don't really know or haven't really talked about before, is you have to figure out the speaking rhythms. That's the trickiest bit. It really is. That's the only really hard part, is you kind of have to feel out, because different people talk in different ways. Some people, when they stop talking, it's because they're formulating a next thought, but some people, it's not. That means they're done. And you have to sort of, you don't have to, but if you want to avoid talking over each other or having weird, awkward pauses, you try to pay attention and start to pick up what the rhythm of other people's speaking mannerisms are. And in Gary and Ian's case, what I figured out, and what I'm actually really happy about, because it's nice for me to be able to sit back and just listen, is they will naturally start talking to each other about things. Even though they do podcasts all the time or reviews all the time, they kind of fall into this thing where they're talking to each other. And that was fine, because I was just sitting back and listening to that, because that's what makes their show work. It's kind of what, supposedly, people enjoy about our show, is the back and forth between me and Lando. So it was very nice to sit back and just listen to these two people talk. And then be in the conversation here and there. Because that's honestly what I feel like a lot of times. Sorry, I'm holding my coffee cup. It's one I'm drawing. Hold on. That's often where a lot of this stuff comes from, is because I'll be watching a review or listening to people doing a show and want to pop in with a question or, something like that. And that's really what I aim for, is for the discussion to kind of go that way and be like, feel like you're somewhat involved without getting in the way. That's the trick. That is the trick. And I am by no means done saying that I'm particularly good at it, but that is the goal. So, and I felt like the show today went very, very well. I had a great time. So hopefully they were not going, oh boy, was this a mistake? I don't think so. The conversation flowed pretty naturally, so I think we had a good time. A very good time. All right, and like I said, I finished my Hellraiser painting. Looking forward to dinner. What am I keep catching on this? Oh yeah, there's like a little tiny tear. Sorry, I just noticed it's just a small, or is that a bubble? Oh no, it's a tear, it looks like. No, it's a bubble. Hold on. Wow, no, did something get under there? Or is that a tear? Sorry, I'm just trying to see what's going on with this thing, because my fingernail keeps catching on it, and I can't tell. Let me just look with my flashlight, or my phone light really quick. Is that a rip? Geez, it's kind of hard to see. But I think it is. I think my fingernail must have caught a little bump and torn it. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Darn. That's fine. Like I said, I got to get another one for this anyway. So I'll have to look around. But it's right where my finger rests, so I keep... Actually, if I turn it, I guess I wouldn't. But I'm used to that. There's a groove in the pencil where I can... Okay, that's fine. I got away from it. It's one of those stupid things where you just keep noticing it once you know it's there. And it's right where my finger rests on the pencil. It's not that big a deal, but it's one that once you... It's kind of like that... What was I talking about? The slurping thing earlier? Once you know and you're trying to avoid it, you almost start to notice it worse or more. Worse. It becomes worse. Harder. It becomes harder to ignore. That's where I was trying to go with that sentence. I do have mirroring on. Yes? Okay, good. So, yeah, it's one of those things where I have to hold the pencil now specifically in a way that I won't have my finger resting on it. Which just means I have to redo my default way of holding it, because I'm used... There's a flat groove on the Apple Pencil, too. It's actually very nice. I didn't really appreciate it at first. I was like, oh, okay, there's a flat thing there. Who cares? But the more as I've used the pencil over the years, that flat surface that's way too wide of a line, I've noticed it and utilized it for kind of stability more than I would have expected to. So I've come to really appreciate it. Yeah, this line got really fat in the middle, and it shouldn't have. because the rest of them aren't. So we can't have just one, because you better believe I'll notice that later. All right, let's see here. Let's fix that. Okay. Did I turn off the double tap for eraser? I'm pretty sure I did. I did, yeah. I thought so. I was doing it accidentally too often. No, that line looks okay. I'm okay. Okay, it's a little wide, but it's not bad. It's not unacceptably wide. And a tiny bit of variation is not bad. If nothing else, it'll remind you that, whoa. Oh, goody. Somebody for me to ban. There we go. Very nice. Deleted by moderator. Bye. Did that even show up? Oh, I didn't even think it showed up on the thing. Good. Good. I'm surprised it took that long for one of those people to show. Oh, no. Hold on. See, idiot. You distracted me to the point where I made a mark that I got to be careful about erasing. There we go. Morons. Morons. Even if I was in the market for buying viewers, which I'm not, I certainly wouldn't have to interrupt my stream. See, that's the other part. Is these people interrupt your stream. Also, he's got the word genocide in his name. You really think I'm going to buy something from somebody with the word genocide in their name? I don't think you and I share the same values, sir. Not into genocide. So, take a hike. The only genocide I would endorse is on people trying to sell views by interrupting people's streams. Not the people, the accounts. Or the behavior, I should say. Although I say that as if there's even a person on the other end, and there very likely is not. It's probably a bot farm of some kind. That's the other thing. At this point, I seriously doubt there are any actual people selling any of these things. It's probably some kind of scam to get your information to run some kind of automated attack on you. So, just a word to anybody thinking about it. Be careful. Be sure you know what you're getting. And be sure there's actually a person involved, because there very well may not be. Because I just don't know, is there really a business in that anymore? I think I've said this before. Are people actually buying viewers at this point? And if so, why? I mean, I'm kind of not sure why anybody ever did to begin with. Unless it was just a way to kind of scam the algorithm, but I don't know how well that would have worked. So, there we go. These lines, these are going to look better than they did before. Because they look like they're following the contour of the actual... Yeah, those are way better. Way better than they were before. Coffee is now consumed. We're at 40 minutes. Man, I always feel like I barely get anything done in these streams. It's really amazing. It really is. But, okay, so where... I gotta get that line in. Is this thing empty? No, it's not empty. Whatever it is. This now can go unassisted, and we can push that down. Those can be one thing again. What I gotta find now is this all... That's all the same. So what I need is a new layer. Put the line work above that, and then we have to get a thicker line because it has to be the same as this, which appears to be that as far as I can tell. Yep, that's it. So we need to turn on mirroring, and we will do another one of these, so like that. And then I want to do one more back here that kind of just emphasizes that there's another thing there. Perfect. Let's erase those edges out. So we'll do that. And that. And this will become part of the foundational line work. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go ahead and... What if I merge that down? Wait, did it get rid of the masking or no? Oh, it didn't. Okay, so then I can just go ahead and merge down. Good. All right. Sweet. And then we need to extend the color. So let's get our color in there. That's this color. So let's sample that. We'll jump in here. Let's get that filled in. That is mirrored. Yes, excellent. Then I got to figure out a color for that tubing, which we'll do in a minute. Actually, now that I think about it, wait, what's the dates? Oh, you know, I think I'm doing a... Oh, no, wait a minute. Holy crap. Hold on. I just thought of something. Crap. Hold on. I just thought of the timing on something. Sorry, I gotta just check something really quick because it just occurred to me. Let me see. When is that? Okay, now we're okay. All right, I just had to make sure. I thought I had just, what's the word for it? I was sitting here going, my wife had just asked me about, no, we're good. About whether I was doing any shows this upcoming Saturday, and I had said no, and then I just realized, wait a minute, there is an upcoming Saturday show, but luckily it's 2 Saturdays from now, so I'm good. Because I was just about to say, oh no, I told her the wrong thing. Because I'm very bad with dates. I'll just say, I'm terrible with them. But nope, I was right. Nothing this weekend, so we're good. But I'm sitting here going, tell me that I got that date wrong. Because it had just occurred. Because I don't do a lot of Saturday shows, usually. And if I do, they're typically later. And this was one that was going to be slightly earlier. And I went, oh no, tell me I did that. Did not. Fortunately, did not. And I was pretty sure not. That's what I was sitting there going, I would have checked that, wouldn't I? And I would have. Luckily, this time, I was right. I tell you. All right, let's see. We're doing a little bit different on this line. Since you can't really see the contours of wherever this particular body part is, I'm just going to make a line and then follow that line. And not really worry because you can't really see what this part is supposed to be shaped like anyway. So, I feel that stupid thing. I'm going to have to order another one of those. So it'll work out fine. Let's just get this going here. Up and up and up. I'm telling you, I am excited for dinner tonight. Which is a good thing, because meals should be exciting. I think we often get a little lazy with, not lazy, we just sort of, meals are just, and I don't know, some people just don't care. They're like, all right, I know I have to eat, I'm just going to eat. But I like the idea of making something that I haven't made before. It's fun. I don't know how everybody's like that either. Some people just, cooking is just a necessity that they have to get through, and that's fine. But you know, my wife bakes a lot of interesting things. I'm terrible at baking, so the place that I can try out new things and hopefully come up with something that she'll enjoy is in cooking meals. Because baking is, I can tell you right now, I could probably serviceably make things if I have to, but I don't have her skill for it. She just, you know, she's got that awareness of how much to use of this to get this flavor, that. She's really good at it. I am not. I could follow a recipe, I'm sure. I'm sure I could. But would I be able to improvise and do interesting things? No, probably not. Not unless I really spent a lot of time doing it, which I can just tell you I'm not going to. It's just not, you know. I like making the meals. She can make the desserts and the baking stuff. And I'll stick to making the kind of the actual meals. Right, okay. It's kind of like the difference we have in terms of, she's generally very good with numbers and finance and that type of thing. I'm good at saving, but I'm not good at math, generally. But if I have a program to help me, I'm a lot better. I shouldn't say a lot better. I need a program to help me. I will often have to use a calculator for things that are probably embarrassingly easy for most people. Not for me. They are not for me. So, okay, hold on. This line got too thin at the bottom. It's good about there. It just lost its way on the tail end. So we'll fix that. That's pretty good. Join those up. Okay. There we are. Much better. More evenly weighted now. There we go. My co-host and I have started playing Gears of War Reloaded, which is a 20-year-old game, but it's a co-op game. You can play the whole game co-op. That's what the appeal was. And let me tell you, it is a hilariously dated game. It is one of the most juvenile games I think I've ever played. Now, 20 years ago, was it probably seen as a fun game? Probably. And 20 years ago, might I have found it to be an entertaining story? Maybe. But now, much later in my life, I look at it and it's just comically silly. Comically silly, which is great because we are making fun of it as we play it. Gameplay's fine. Again, it's 20 years old, so you have to have the proper expectations. As a cover shooter, it works perfectly well. I have nothing mechanically to complain about. But the characters in that game are so ridiculous. Literally, the character design for all the male characters is essentially this, right? Okay, hold on. Let me just do this really quickly. All right. Okay. I'm doing this with white pen as opposed to black pen, but same difference, right? This is the design of the characters. Immense, ridiculously silly necks. And, you know, tough guy pose and facial hair. Angry. Marine guy. Tough. Like, you know, Here, give him a little sneer. Right? So angry. That's the design of every, and, you know, maybe a little thing back here. Every character we've seen that is male so far is this. That's really it. I mean, just, this is what they look like. Interestingly, all the female characters are not that level of thickness. Go figure. The only women we've seen so far have all been very, very, I mean, certainly far thinner than the male characters, which I find interesting. But all the male characters look like they are just overinflated balloon men. It is hilariously stupid. So we're having a good time with it, but probably not in the way that the creators of the game, the writers, would have intended. Or designers, I guess. I don't know if the writing pointed any of that out. But it is such a weird decision that, again, maybe in 06, that was popular. I kind of think maybe it was. It was just a byproduct of the age. But looking at it now, it is so difficult not to laugh at it. That we did laugh at. I mean, my co-host, I think at first didn't really realize that every character was like that. And then we very quickly figured out, wait a minute, they're all like this. They all look like these weird muscle men. Almost like the Small Soldiers characters. The movie Small Soldiers. They almost look like the toy. They look like toys. They look like toy men. And maybe that was the intention, was to satirize the action hero look, but I don't think so. I don't think it was on purpose. I think they thought this was a cool look, and it isn't. Sorry to shatter anybody's illusions. It's not. Okay, so we've got that. Where are we at? 51 minutes. Okay, well, what I probably should do is we probably should get a metallic color for this device on the front. So why don't we jump down into the colors here? What is this color? Okay, that is an actual color. Let's put it underneath. Put it here. Let's go ahead and do our assist. Okay, not that pen though. We'll just get some basic coloring in here. This color may change, but this is just for now to have something so it's filled in, because we're kind of coming to the end of the stream here. Which, again, it felt like an hour was a long time, and it never is. It really never is. So we'll do this. Get that filled in. And then the tubing. I don't know what color the tubing is going to be. I got to figure that out. That's... How many more layers? Let's see. How many layers do I have available? May not be that many. Let's take a quick look. How many available? 1. Okay. So I'm gonna have to compress some stuff because I need more than 1 layer. That I can tell you. I need more than 1 layer. Where is this? Wait a minute. What is that? Oh, that's up there? Well, I think we can combine these now. I don't think we're changing that. So these can now be 1. That'll give me some layers back. And then there's another one. Where's that other one? Oh, these? Yeah, okay, we can combine these. They're all white lines, so that's fine. Do that. There we go. That gave me a couple layers back. Well, those are white lines too, but I'll keep those separated for now. All right, so let's do another layer where we'll do a darker version of this color for the moment. I probably could just put them on 1 layer, but just in case I decide to change this for any reason, I'd like to have them separated for now. And then that should give me enough to be able to finish everything. Do that. Excellent. Do I have a black layer? I don't know if I do. I don't. I don't have a black layer. Wow. Oh yeah, I do. I must, because the nostrils are black. Where are those? Oh, I'll bet you it's this. No, it's not that. Where? Did I just put the black layer separate? No, it's not that. Where is that black layer? Oh. Interesting. Okay, well, it can go there. I don't care. It's just black. Black is black no matter where you're putting it. So I really don't care. Put 1 there. There's nothing there. Okay. Let's solve that problem. And then I need another color. You know what? I am going to just go ahead and let's do something like that for this inner ring. Just enough to differentiate it from that darker layer. Can always change that, but I'm not going to do 2 different things for that. There we go. So that's that, and then I need another color. I don't know what that center stone, I'm assuming this is stone or a power source. I don't know what I want to make that. Maybe a color I haven't really used yet. Something like I don't know, we'll use this as a placeholder for now. It can just be this bright purple or fuchsia or whatever this color is, pink. Let's do that just for now. This will probably change. I'm immediately thinking maybe I want to make it blue and not this color, but we can do that for now. That's there. And then as far as the tubes go, what do I want the tubes to be? Think for a minute. I gotta think for a minute. What do I want the tubes to be? What do I want the tubes to be? Should it be a related color or a totally different one? You know what? Maybe for now, we'll make them the same color as this. So actually, this is an empty layer, yeah? Okay, we're going to get rid of this layer for a minute. I'm going to make it the same as this just for now, because I might actually put it like there's something inside, and that will be a different color. But we're going to keep this like this. Just for the moment. There may end up being something inside these tubes that will then be a different color. We'll see. I don't know quite what I'm going to do with these yet, and that's okay. Because we're at the end anyway, so it's a good time for me to just not look at this for a bit and let it percolate just a shade, and then come back to it and see what I want to do. Maybe on the next stream we'll dive back in here, but we are now pretty close to being done with this, so it should not. Whoa, okay, no. That's way too big a paintbrush, and I'll just do it this way. It's faster than redoing that. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a different color. I just don't know what yet. I have to figure. Ah, man, my eyes. Left eye just suddenly started bothering me, so this is actually good timing. Okay, everybody. Well, this is where we're at. We're doing well. I mean, we're almost there. Almost there. Almost there. So it's going good. This is going to be a good image once it's done. I'm happy with where this is. So let us go ahead and do that. There we are. And yeah, well, I will end this. I will end this stream as I always do by telling you that. Let me tell this to stop. Thank you. That if you can, you should take the time to support a creator that you enjoy. I'm not talking about me, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people out there who are trying to make a living from being creative, it has been rare over time. I shouldn't say it's never been possible. It has absolutely been possible. But trying to make a living by being creative has often been, more often than not, oh, there's the right way to say it. More often than not, it's been a pretty tough thing to do. And I think at different points in time, it might have been slightly easier, but creativity and artists in general, and you can say this about any type of art, it doesn't have to be visual art, it can be music, it can be writing, all these things. Any type of creative output has often been severely undervalued. And now with AI and everything else going on, and also just because things do seem to, in a lot of places, are becoming more expensive. Geez, I don't know where my words went there. Just in general, as if it wasn't hard enough before, it certainly doesn't seem to be getting any easier. So whatever you can do to help support a creator you enjoy, you should do it. And that doesn't have to be money. I say this every time. I mean it every time I say it. Doesn't have to be monetary. That's great. If you can do it, by all means do it. You're not going to find too many creators who are going to say, I don't want money. I'm sure some exist, but it's not going to be the majority of them. But not everybody has the ability to do that. And creators understand that. Somebody who is trying to pay the bills and trying to figure out how to do it is going to understand when other people can't necessarily cough up a bunch of extra money. So they're going to know that. But there's other ways you could help them in terms of putting their work and their name in front of somebody who may have that extra income. So if you follow those people and you share their work, even just sending them a note. I've said this before too. A lot of people think just sending a brief note doesn't really mean anything. And I would say that most creative people will find a lot of value in just getting an encouraging note from somebody that says, hey, you know what? I like your work a lot. Just that can be hugely beneficial for somebody, especially if they're struggling with whether they even want to keep creating, which I think more creators than you might imagine end up struggling with, that sit there and go, I don't know if this is worth my time anymore. And so that note, that little brief message, that might be the thing they need to keep them going and making the stuff that you enjoy. Because we all, and look, I'm not pretending I don't have this problem too. It's very easy when you find somebody who seems to be very talented and you like what they're doing to just assume that they're going to be able to just keep doing what they're doing. And that is not always the case. There are probably way more artists struggling that you would think would never struggle. There are probably more of them than you think. So whatever you can do, take the time to do it. It's absolutely worth it. And on that note, I appreciate you just coming by. See, it's all whether you're watching it live or later, that's fine with me. So whatever way you found your way to this channel, thank you for hanging out for a bit and listening to me just ramble about nothing, which I often do. On that note, I hope you have a great rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. And until next time, thanks for being here and take care.